guys, it's me Alison and welcome to my college application guide. In this video I will be breaking down the entire college application process, and I'm by no means an expert, so if you have the resources and desire to, you could also talk to a college counselor. These are just the basic steps for the college process though, because I had absolutely no idea what I was doing when I was applying last year. Since these videos always get really long on my channel, I'm gonna go ahead and put the timestamps up right there, and you should also be able to find them in like the bar for the video. And I put this reminder in every high school advice and like college advice video I make that there are lots of different paths you could take, from gap years to community and transferring in to trade schools, all that sort of stuff. And I will be making a video dedicated to non-traditional paths, which I will link in the description. It should be coming out next Friday or the Friday after. Another reminder I always plug, it's okay if you guys don't have your life figured out yet. I heard from Hannah Elise's video that on average people change their major 3 times while they are in college, so like we're all figuring it out. Also wanted to add that I just posted my high school advice video and I talk a lot about college in that as well, so if you guys want to watch it I will go ahead and link it in the description. And apologies if any of this advice overlaps with that high school advice video, but I just still stand by it. And disclaimer, this video will mainly pertain to the Common App, UC app, and Cal State app because those were the only apps I did. I will not be talking about things like the Coalition app or international applications because I don't have any experience with those. Also guys, I have some vlog footage from when I was actually applying to colleges. If you're feeling, you know, a little bit alone or something, you can see how much I was struggling with it, but I promise it'll all pass. I'm gonna put that in at the end of the video as a little bonus. Okay, so let's start with the very basic stuff, which I still didn't know when I started. The different applications. So first off, we've got the Common App. So this is used for schools like NYU, USC, Chapman, Loyola Marymount, etc. A lot of schools use this app, which is really nice. So you're gonna go ahead and create an account, and then when you're just starting out, you're gonna go ahead and go to college search and add in all the colleges you're going to apply to that use the Common App, and then you're gonna hit add college. And then they're gonna show up on your dashboard and in the My Colleges part. You can't see on mine because it's the completed version of what the portal looks like, but there's usually a spot where you fill in your basic information, grades, activities, and then you paste in your essay. Most of it's pretty straightforward, but I'll cover the non-straightforward parts later in this video. There are sometimes supplements. So like for Loyola Marymount, they had a supplement that was included on their Common App portion, and I submitted it right there. And then NYU also needed a supplement from me, but theirs was on a different platform called Slideroom. So they just put the instructions on the Common App and then had me link my Slideroom to my Common App. Then there's the UC app. So this is for the 9 UC campuses. I don't know if it includes UCSF because that's a grad school, but this is for UCSD, UCI, UCLA, UC Davis, UCR, UCSB, UC Merced, UC Berkeley, and UC Santa Cruz. Again, I can't really show you guys what mine looks like because it's completed now, but it'll ask for your basic information, your grades, activities, and instead of doing one personal statement sort of essay like on the Common App, you're going to be answering 4 out of the 8 personal insight questions. So you guys get to pick which ones you answer. And I'll be reading mine for you guys later in this video. And then there's the Cal State app. So this is for the 23, I believe, Cal State campuses, which would be like Cal Poly SLO, SDSU, Cal State Northridge. I only applied to one Cal State, which was Cal State Northridge, as a film major. So it might vary from school to school and from major to major, but for me, the application honestly took like a couple hours max, probably less than that, because all I had to put in was my basic information and I think my grades. I don't even know if they asked about activities. I don't remember. They might have, might not have, but I didn't need to turn in any essays. I didn't need to turn in any supplements. It was all the very straightforward, easy to plug in stuff for my Cal State app. Then we've got the Coalition app. So I don't really know much about this, but I know some schools that use the Coalition app also offer the Common App as an option. I didn't apply to any schools that only let you use the Coalition app, so I don't know what it is. And then some schools use school-specific applications, so I believe like the University of Manoa does this because I was thinking about applying there. And then there are also supplements for some majors. So basically what a supplement is this is like extra essays or portfolios of like films, art, stuff like that if you are applying to certain majors. I know art majors often have to submit supplements. I had to do a lot of them. Some majors also require things like interviews or auditions and stuff, like music and dance majors often do. So make sure you check your specific schools and majors to see if that's required. Important dates. So the Common App and UC app both open on August 1st. I highly recommend that you guys start your applications earlier than that though, like over the summer at least. August 1st is just the date when you guys can finally make your account for the application season. There are tons of resources online. You guys can easily find the like essay prompts and tips about them already, unless the schools superbly change it up, but they usually don't. I will say though that NYU changed their film application the year I was applying, so just double check on like the school's websites. Then there's the UC filing window. So this is when you submit UC apps. This is going to be from November 1st to November 30th. Highly recommend that you guys do it earlier on in that filing window because towards the end the servers start to crash and people have technical difficulties. I would recommend you guys start trying to submit maybe like a week in advance, if not more. Each college has different due dates for their apps, and then there's also like early action and early decision, which I will talk about in a little bit. Specific majors may also have different due dates within schools. For instance, as a Chapman Film major, I needed to turn in my application at the same time as early action and early decision kids, even if I wasn't early action or early decision. That was so they could look over my supplements and stuff. So make sure again that you guys check for that. And then some important dates for financial aid and the important forms. First off, we have the FAFSA, which you fill out every year for most schools because it's like the big government way to sort of see how much financial aid you should get. This opens on October 1st. Fill this out as soon as you can because it's kind of on a first come first serve basis, and you're going to need a lot of important info like your parents' tax and like asset information, your tax and asset information. And then the CSS profile also opens on October 1st. This is needed for some schools. I'm pretty sure not all of the schools I applied to needed this, but they all wanted the FAFSA from me. This you will find on the College Board website, and it also helps them determine financial aid. And now let's talk about decision types. This was confusing to me when I started. So basically the application is going to ask you what you're applying as. So there's like a little drop down window and you'll pick like early action, early decision, or regular decision, maybe another regular decision deadline. Different schools vary. So you're going to pick yours out of that. If you do early action, this will mean you'll check early action on your application, you're going to submit your app earlier, and you're going to hear back earlier from colleges, but it's non-binding. I say this because then we have early decision. So early decision means you're going to check early decision on your application, you're going to submit the app earlier, and you're going to hear back earlier, and this is a binding agreement. So if you apply early decision to a school and you get accepted, you have to go. And this also means that you have to withdraw the other applications you didn't hear back from yet. Different schools have different rules for like how many schools you can apply early decision to, but early action is pretty much unlimited. For early decision, there are a few exceptions to getting out of the agreement. It depends on the school, but I know like NYU would let you out of the agreement if you didn't get enough financial aid from them to attend. So what are the benefits of early action and early decision? Early action and early decision gives you a slightly better chance of getting in. I'm pretty sure it's because it shows colleges that you really want to get in, especially if you're early decision, and it helps them figure out how many kids to let in for regular decision. So when schools are being ranked, one of the things that plays into it is what I think it's called the yield. So this basically means schools want the number of accepted students to be as close to the number of students that actually attend as possible. So I'm pretty sure that's why early action and early decision kids have a slightly better chance of getting in. If you have the option, I would recommend applying early action. I think the only downside to it is that you have to turn in your application earlier. So if there's something coming up in the next couple months that you want to like write about in an essay or slap onto your activities, like something really, really important, that's when I think maybe you shouldn't do early action, but otherwise I would recommend doing it. I did it for Chapman, Fordham, Cal Lutheran, and Loyola Marymount. Early decision is a little bit different because this one's binding. So I would say only do early decision for the schools that are like your absolute dream schools and you know that if you get in, you're going there. Different schools vary on this, but some of them only let you apply early decision to like one school. I would say if it's your dream school, then you could apply early decision. If you're iffy about it, I would not recommend doing this, but early action I would definitely suggest. There is the possibility if you apply early action or early decision that when early action and early decision kids are hearing back, you're gonna get deferred to regular decision. That happened to me with Loyola Marymount, and then they waitlisted me after that. And then there's regular decision. This is when you'll probably hear back in like March. Cal State's actually got back to us in like February. UCs don't have early action or early decision. Everybody submits it at the same time. And again, each college has different due dates for their apps, and again, look at your specific major to see if that specifically has a different due date within the school. As I said before, as a film major, even if I was regular decision, I had to turn my apps in at the same time as early decision kids. And then the results. So you may get accepted, rejected, or waitlist. If you get put on the waitlist for a school, make sure you opt in. I didn't know about this. I did it for UCI because it like pointed me to it right away, but I didn't know you had to do it for every school you were waitlisted at, so I forgot to do it for Loyola Marymount. Make sure you opt in. If it's a school you want to go to still, opt into the waitlist. There's like no downside to opting in. The only reason people like wouldn't is if they like committed to a different school or they knew they just didn't want to go there. And then finally there's this other type of acceptance that I didn't know about until I watched my friend Ash's college decision video. So this is where schools will basically accept you into sort of like a feeder school for them. So it's either like a smaller part of their campus or like a local community college, something like that, and then they guarantee that in a year or two you can transfer into like their main campus. So I had never heard of that before, but that is an option for some schools. Alright, and now onto my biggest tips. Start early. Oh my gosh, when I applied to colleges, I ended up rushing at the end, and I would be going from school to work to improv to coming home to do my homework and then working on apps until like 1 a.m. So I would say definitely start over the summer, if not earlier. And again, you can definitely find the essay prompts and tips for them online unless the schools change it up. Double check to see if the schools are changing their requirements for the year though. Go to your school's senior workshops if they offer them. At my school, this is where they told us important stuff for our apps, like our class size, our GPA type, how to enter our grades, because my school learns on an accelerated schedule. And they also gave me my transcript there, which was super helpful for entering my grades. If your school has visits from college reps, go to them. I went to like 6 or 7 when I was a senior. Some people start going as juniors or sophomores too. They're super helpful and informative, and again, they show a college that you're actually interested in them, like because you fill out a little card and they keep track of who came to their presentations. And you also get a contact at the school, which is super helpful. Like I've emailed the Chapman representative that came, I've emailed the NYU representative that came. It's super helpful to have a liaison at the school and like an individual person you can contact with questions and stuff. Remember to send your SAT and AP scores officially from College Board. I'm not sure when you have to do this. I think I only did it for the school I committed to. It might vary from school to school. It costs money to send your official test scores, which sucks. You might be able to get it waived. I'm not sure. I wasn't able to. Each school has like certain deadlines for when you gotta send those in by. Also remember to send in your mid-year or final transcripts as required. Again, different schools have different rules for this, so keep track of that. As I talk about later in the organization section of this video, I have a Google Doc where I kept track of like who needed my mid-year report, who needed my SAT scores, stuff like that. Also remember to do your FAFSA and CSS profile so you can at least try to get financial aid. Definitely do your research. I think you guys should really look into a lot of schools and look at their specific curriculum for different majors that you're interested in. Again, you don't have to know what major you want to be yet, but if you have an idea of certain fields you might want to try, look at like their course catalogs, the specific classes, like see if that's what you're interested in. Because like I'm an education major now. Some education programs had classes more focused on like policy making part of schools, while I want classes more structured towards how to become a teacher. Also look at clubs they offer on campus, student life, housing options, different stuff like that. This is important not only for choosing where you want to apply, but also for your actual application. And really research your different like major and career options and stuff. Like it turns out I pretty much changed my mind about my major after applying, and I had already sent it off for the most like difficult major of any college. Make sure you plan really well so that you're not repeating yourself in different parts on your app. As you can see here, this is where I was sort of brainstorming different topics to use for different parts of my applications and supplements. You don't want to be sending a school 2 different essays about the same thing because you only have so much space to tell them about yourself, so you want to make the most of it and give them like the most well-rounded view of yourself. On the application, the why this school section is super important. Don't just gloss over it, and don't be vague. You want to be specific, show that you've really done your research and that you genuinely want to go to this college. Like I said before, colleges want the number of admitted students to be as close to the number of students that actually attend as possible, so this section is really important. Don't be afraid to use the additional info section. Like don't fill it up with stuff they don't need to know, but also don't be afraid of the section, you know? So I used it on the UC app to mention that color guard took up 4 class periods for me that didn't show up on the UC grade part because my school didn't count color guard as a fine art until after I quit. And so it sort of looked like I took no classes my like sophomore and junior years, which was not the case. I asked what to do about it, and the UCLA representative told me to mention it in the additional info section. So that's an example of what you would use that section for. On to planning, organizing, and choosing colleges. So choosing which colleges to apply to is your first step. Remember that each college application usually costs money. And then if you have to turn in a supplement for your major, which is like additional essays or portfolios, that usually costs extra money. I ended up applying to 11 schools. 2 of them waived my application fee for me, so it was free to apply. This is definitely something you guys should think about because it costs anywhere from $25 to like $90 to apply to a college. And then if you have to submit a film or art supplement, etc., it can cost an extra like $12 to $25. And that adds up, guys. So how I started planning, I made this Google Doc, or you can make a spreadsheet, I suppose. I think that would be a lot easier. I listed out what colleges I was thinking about applying to, my desired major and second choice majors there, what I needed for each school, so like if they wanted the mid-year report, which is your transcript in the middle of your senior year, if they wanted my SAT scores, or if they were test optional, if they super scored my test results, which basically means they add up the highest parts of your like SAT or ACT or whatever. I wrote how much the applications and possible supplements cost and the application deadlines, and I included early action, early decision, and regular decision dates. It's a very big table, and I would recommend making a spreadsheet instead. So I can't tell you guys what to look for in a school because you want to be in a place that feels right to you and has what you're interested in. But if you are feeling lost on what sort of aspects to look for, I would suggest location, the surrounding like city and safety and stuff like that. Like, do you like the city around it? Does it have the stores you like? Does it have like fun stuff to do? Or maybe you don't want that. Maybe you want more of a rural sort of school area. Look at the crime rates. In my sociology class my senior year, my teacher had us look up the crime rates of the different colleges we were applying to. If you know what your major is, or if you sort of know some majors you're interested in, look at the specific course catalogs again. Look at the level of the curriculum, like how good is it? How well does it align to what you want? Look at tuition for sure. Career opportunities, like how much networking is available there. Student life, study abroad opportunities, clubs, campus life, housing options, etc. And I would also recommend visiting the campuses. I visited UCLA, USC, and UCI before I applied, and then after I applied, I visited Occidental, Chapman, and UCI again. What I did when I was trying to pick what colleges to apply to was I looked up the like best colleges for the majors I was interested in, and then I narrowed down my choices from there based on like the reviews of the school, what I know is important to me in a school, etc. Organization. I recommend bookmarking links links like the applicant portals and supplement instructions, because once you submit your apps, the school is going to email you a link to your applicant portal, and each school has a different one, and they might have multiple portals. So if you apply to a lot of schools, you're going to have a lot of different portals. So this is where you're going to check on your status, like if you're accepted, and where you can also see what things you still need to submit, like financial aid info, test scores, transcripts, etc. I also recommend saving important instructions, like if you have supplement instructions. And I made a Google folder called college, and then within it I had specific folders for each college, except I grouped UCI and UCSB together because they were the same application pretty much, and then UCLA was separate because they asked for a supplement. Make a spreadsheet for scholarships, and then again have a Google Doc or spreadsheet with all of your college deadlines, materials, costs, etc. The different parts of the application. So first off, there's grades and test scores. This is one of the first things you're going to enter into your application. It's not too tricky, but sometimes I did have questions about it, so I would ask my counselor. I know school counselors aren't always the most helpful though, so if they're not helpful, I recommend asking someone that graduated recently from your high school and applied, because different schools enter classes and grades differently. I'd also like to mention that when admissions officers are looking at your apps, part of their process is comparing you to other students from your school specifically. You can't do anything about this, and I don't want you guys to like worry or compare yourselves to the other kids at your school, but I feel like it's just something interesting to know about their process. Don't worry about this, just do your best. And then you're going to self-report your test scores unless it's optional. Some schools or majors don't require it, and I know with COVID a lot of schools aren't requiring it for like the next year or maybe two. But also, like, I was a film major and the NYU rep told me I probably shouldn't submit my scores, even though NYU does want scores. The major I was in was test optional. It depends from major to major, school to school. So this year and the upcoming years are kind of whack because of COVID. If there is like a test like the SAT or ACT or any test that like replaces those, then most likely you're going to self-report your scores, and then later on you'll send official scores from the college board. Also make sure to send your official AP scores once you've like committed to a college to make sure you get college credit for it. And also, if you took community college classes while you were in high school, report those grades too. So basically, when you're putting in your grades, it's gonna be under like what school you took the class at. So also, like, if you transferred high schools and stuff, you're gonna list the different schools and then like the classes within them. So yeah, make sure that you report all the grades from all your schools, community colleges, stuff like that, and then you also want to make sure you send the transcripts from all the different schools. So on to letters of rec. These are going to be written by teachers, school counselors, coaches, bosses, etc. So ask for these at the end of your junior year. If you haven't asked yet, don't freak out. Ask at the start of your senior year, or like send them an email now. Different schools require different numbers of letters of rec. Also, different majors within schools require different numbers of letters of rec. Like USC, I think they usually ask for like the base number of letters of rec in the Common App, but then film majors needed to turn in 3 letters of rec, and one of them needed to be from a performing arts person. So it varies. Make sure you check again. I think they usually like to see at least one teacher in a STEM subject. Don't quote me on that, don't know for sure. And then for the Common App, one teacher and your school counselor or someone in place of your school counselor also need to fill out an evaluation about you. So I had my Honors American Literature / Film Studies teacher do this, and my school counselor. And then I also got letters of rec from my AP Calc AB / BC teacher and from my singing teacher, which was especially good because not only does she know me well and can offer a look at me outside of school, like other options would be a coach or a boss could do this, but I also needed someone in the performing arts industry for USC and Chapman, so that was great to have her letter of rec. Make a brag sheet. So basically a brag sheet is like a resume of everything you did in high school. Teachers might not need them, but I gave it to them anyway to give them a better view of who I am in case they were struggling with writing the letter. But you should be asking teachers who already know you pretty well for letters of rec. So the brag sheet's just sort of like an extra cushion. I also recommend having a good relationship with like your counselor. If you can, make sure you visit them before your senior year so that they know who you are. Like I always went up with questions about high school courses because I had a lot of questions. And then I also like cried to my counselor one time, which I don't know if I recommend, but like she remembered me because it was like her first week on the job. What I included in my brag sheet was my GPA, my clubs and activities, hobbies and interests, jobs I worked, volunteering, my plans after high school, my test scores, and then I think I put a summary of my life story, but I took that off later because I was like, I don't need that. Activities. So if you guys need help with this, I would start off with a list of everything you've been involved in on and off campus. Then go ahead and whittle it down to the main activities that you are passionate about or that you're involved in. If you've done an activity since before high school, make sure you tell them that. So for me, that was like singing lessons and YouTube I've done since I was like a kid, so that showed them commitment, which is good. I think it was the UCLA rep who told us to make sure the colleges know if you've done an activity for longer than just high school. Also, I heard from different websites that if you are still in an activity, to write about it in the present tense, and if you are no longer in that activity, to write it in the past tense. This isn't like a big deal because you check off boxes for like what years you were involved in that club and stuff, but that's just a rule of thumb I followed. I also saw on a website to write your highest title if you held multiple positions in a club. When I applied though, I didn't know that, so I just wrote all of my titles down, so I think you'll probably be fine either way. So I had 2 separate docs, one for UC activities and one for Common App, because the Common App only lets you you write about 10 activities and it's a pretty short description of them, and then UCs let you write about 20 activities and you can write longer descriptions of them. However, I hear a lot, it's sort of like quality over quantity a little bit. Like, you don't want to just spew out clubs you were in for like a day. You want to show the activities and extracurriculars that you were actually like passionate about and like involved in. The Common App descriptions don't have to be in full sentences because you only get so many characters to explain them. I'm going to read you guys a couple of examples. So if I wrote about my time as Key Club treasurer now, it'd be in the past tense, but if I was writing about it back then, it'd be in present. So it'd sound like, raised $2,824 for club and pediatric trauma, won treasurer of the year, corresponded with businesses, organized dues, volunteered 129 hours. Now, if you want to hear a present tense example, it's not a great one, but I just wanted to show you the present tense. Supervise elementary schoolers, assist with homework questions, monitor projects and activities, clean up rooms. Use interesting verbs. Notice that I use very active ones like supervise, correspond, assist. So now I'm going to read you guys some examples of a UC description of an activity. So here's what I wrote for color guard, and since I quit by the time I was applying, it's in past tense. Spun flags, rifles, sabers, and practiced dance technique. Received most improved color guard member and lettered. Instructed Spotlight Tex as a head spotlight on production team. Sang solo for jazz band and acted with the MCs for show transitions. Organized Secret Sister gifts for tournaments and filled empty fundraising position, volunteered at band performances, fundraisers, and stadium cleanups, learned time management. And then here's another example. This is what I wrote for my UC apps for my description of Disney Club. So I was still the president when I was applying, so this is in present tense. Plan and host bi-weekly meetings, communicate important information, meeting dates, etc. to members via email group and remind application, create visuals and slideshows, collaborate with graphic designer and clothing company for club merchandise orders, encourage bonding activities and member inclusion, organize Disney-themed events, oversee the club's social media account, delegate responsibilities to executive board, manage member roster and relations with the associated student body. So again, notice the verb choices like oversee, delegate. And then on the UC and Common App, there's a section where you can put honors and stuff like that. I was on Distinguished Honor Roll for all 4 years, so I think I added that. I should have also added that I got the Letter of Commendation from the National Merit Scholarship Program. I added Most Improved Color Guard member, and I think I might have even added Homecoming Queen, since that wasn't just voting, but I also had to like submit an essay and like the school staff read it over, so that's why I put that in. I put National Honor Society. Essays. This is a super important part of your application. You want to make sure your essays show some growth about you. Humanize yourself. Don't be afraid to be a little vulnerable with them. They want to see that you're like a person and not just an academic robot. Again, make sure to plan well so that your essays don't overlap with each other in topics. You only get so many words to tell admissions officers about yourself, so you want to give them as good a picture of you as possible. So my essays. My Common App one. I actually don't like the essay now, which is why I'm not going to be reading it to you guys in this video, but I wrote about my love of different music genres and I tied that into sort of my core personality. My UC personal insight questions. I wrote about my passion for working with kids, YouTube, my greatest strength, which was a really emotional personal piece about self-awareness, which I'm not going to read to you guys, but I'll read the other 3 to you, and Key Club and how I brought our club out of debt and worked really hard to raise money for our charity. Revise your essays. You can have people like read it. I personally didn't have too many people read my essays because they were super personal and I know I'm a good writer, and also because I heard like your parents and your friends and stuff, they're not admissions counselors, they don't know what colleges are looking for, but you could still have them read them. I did have some of my family read a couple of the essays. If you know like an old admissions counselor or like a college counselor though, you could have them read it. But yeah, it's up to you, personal preference. There's differences in the essays. So Common App is sort of more flowery, creative writing sort, and then UCs, they want you to be straight to the point. They want you to just be pretty blunt about what you're trying to tell them about yourself. And try to vary how you start your UC essays since there are 4 of them. So I used slight imagery for the Key Club one, a YouTube comment for the YouTube one, a just straight to the point breaking the fourth wall one for the self-awareness one. I broke the fourth wall in all of them, of course, because I'm telling them exactly what I want them to know about me. I just started right off the bat breaking the fourth wall in that essay, and then I started with dialogue from one of my students that led into the rest of the essay for my Working with Kids one. And then the UCI representative that came to our school told us 8 common mistakes people make on their UC personal insights, so I'm going to share them with you guys. Number 1, he said focusing on only one campus specifically. Maybe this is different if you're only applying to one campus, I don't really know, but since I applied to 3 UC campuses, I made sure not to focus on only one campus in my personal insights. Number 2, inappropriate humor usage. Don't do it. Number 3, creative writing. Don't do it. Again, straight to the point, guys. Number 4, quotes, like the cheesy sort of inspirational ones, I think. This is different than like I use dialogue at the start of my Working with Kids essay. That's different. Number 5, repetition of other parts of the app. Again, you want to make sure you're not repeating yourself. Number 6, asking philosophical questions. Number 7, acronyms they don't know. So like I wrote out my job title first a few times before I started using the acronym to make sure they knew it. Number 8, using generalities. Don't do that. Instead, stick to the facts and personal examples. Scholarships. So this is super important. I wish I had taken this more seriously and I wish I had started working on this earlier. Apply on all levels, like local, state, national, etc. Because I saw a TikTok where they talked about how you have a better chance with local scholarships because the applicant pool is smaller. And scholarships add up, so even if they're little, just try for them. I saw a TikTok that recommended making a spreadsheet or something to track different scholarships, their amounts, their requirements, their deadlines, etc. And I also saw a TikTok where a girl recommended making like 1 or 2 essays and then tweaking them to fit different scholarship prompts. This is definitely going to make your life easier because a lot of scholarship applications ask you for an essay. Start these early too. Some people literally start them, they're like freshman year of high school. But when I applied to colleges, I just like didn't do scholarships because I was so worn out from all my senior year responsibilities and college apps. I only ended up applying to like 2 or 3 big scholarships and I didn't get them. But I got some from like specific colleges I got into because of like FAFSA or like my grades. Supplements! I kept a list of what I needed to do for each school. So I was a film major when I applied, so I had a lot of extra essays, films, and creative resumes to turn in. I don't think I should be giving supplement advice because I didn't get into the schools I sent supplements to, but definitely start early. Like, I started making my films over the summer and then a little bit into the school year. I will link both of the films in the description. And finally, picking your college. So this is for a little bit farther down the road. You guys aren't quite at that point yet, I assume, but this is for when you've gotten your acceptances back and you need to pick where to go. One point I want to make is do not prioritize college prestige over what's best for you. I think I worded this best in my high school advice video this year, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put that clip in again. Don't prioritize college prestige over what's best for you. This was something that I really struggled with, especially because in American society we really press the ideas that Ivy Leagues and UCs and those schools like NYU and USC are like better than other schools. They're not. They're not for everybody. Different people have different needs, and like different schools might overall be like ranked better, but they might not offer good courses or curriculum for certain majors. They might not have the clubs that someone wants. You know what I mean? So like, don't prioritize college prestige over what's best for you. I can't say it any better. A thing I do whenever I have to make a decision: pros and cons lists. Ask friends and family for their input. You don't have to do what they say, but it might be interesting to hear what they think. Take it with a grain of salt though, because nobody knows you as well as you do. Definitely make sure to ask people that are also already in college. So when I was trying to pick my college path, I asked for advice from friends in high school, friends in four-year universities, friends in community college transferring in, and then my older relatives. And I noticed that the friends that are already in college tended to give me different advice than the friends in high school. Ask people that have tried the routes you're interested in. Like if you're interested in community college or taking gap years and stuff, talk to people that have done those things. And then also there's tons of YouTube videos out there about all that stuff, so if you don't know anyone personally that's done that, you can watch some of their experience videos. And then visit the schools. The feel may be different than you expect. Like I know UCI, when I visited, the atmosphere just felt perfect. Like the energy totally matched my own. It just felt right being there. And like Chapman, when I visited, I was like, this is like a breath of fresh air, man. So now for my UC personal insights, I'm only gonna read you 3 of them. Okay, so we're gonna start with my Key Club one. This was to answer prompt number 1. Grimly, I stared down at the reconciliation report. My summer fundraisers had been so successful just for all the money to be funneled towards one bill. When I won Key Club Treasurer, I had no idea what I was in for. I simply thought I was gaining a more involved position in one of my favorite organizations. However, due to conflicts within the prior executive board, debt ailed our club as I stepped in. I didn't have any experience as a treasurer. I'd never even been to the school's finance office. All that quickly changed. Our new president dreamt of winning Most Improved Club and of becoming the lieutenant governor of Division 3. So she wanted to reinvent our home club and re-inspire member spirit. She pushed the entire board to be at the top of her game. With countless responsibilities of her own, she left it up to me to solve our debt and raise the money we needed for our pediatric trauma charity, home club, and travel expenses for the district convention leadership conference. While she gave me a few specific orders, it was up to me to go beyond what was asked. For instance, when she wanted a bake sale, I constantly called employees, managers, and realtors before nailing down a location. Then, when no table was available, I reached out to everyone I knew until I found one to borrow. I woke up early, drove around town picking up the table and poster supplies, and set up our stand. Then, as my president fell ill, I took charge and cheerfully advertised our cause to each passerby for 7 hours. The fundraiser ended up being a huge success, resulting in $476.24 for our charity and club. Our club has improved immensely, and being a part of such a passionate executive board pushes me to step up to responsibilities beyond a high school level. From having to protect $1,000 of dues to working with the associated student body, finance office, and corporations, Key Club has helped me mature quickly and take more initiative. So if there's one thing I will say, is that I hate that college applications are at the start of your senior year, because I went on and did a lot more cool stuff for Key Club after that, but I thought that was overall a pretty good essay. So now my YouTube one. I'm gonna be bleeping out some things, as you like heard of my Key Club one. As I read the comment, every desire to take down my emotionally revealing video disappeared. I had finally achieved my goal of helping someone through my content. When I began experimenting with film at 9 years old, it was just for fun. Intrigued by my dad's video software and yearning to document my life, I produced video diaries almost daily. Despite the grainy footage and uneven audio, I fell in love with the process. Dying to emulate the YouTubers I idolized, I opened my first YouTube channel at 10. My tutorials were choppy and awkward as I adjusted to a new software, but they were simply for my own amusement. However, film's potential to be more than just entertainment soon hit me. Confused and inexperienced in serious matters, I turned to YouTube for guidance. People like Lily Singh and Tiffany Herrera released content that helped me understand my emotions, motivated me, or simply made me laugh. They showed me I wasn't as alone as I thought. Seeing how their content inspired millions like me, I finally understood film's power to unite people and convey deeper messages. Later that year, I was lucky enough to meet Tiffany. Those brief moments were pure bliss, pushing me to kickstart my gaming channel and to see life with a renewed optimism. I created videos with a new purpose now, to make people as happy as Tiffany made me, giving them a break from reality or supporting them through difficulties. Since then, I've continued my craft with a lifestyle channel and improved my content by teaching myself film techniques. After realizing how often content is sugar-coated, I decided to take off my filter and be more authentic. I now aim to entertain and amuse viewers while also destigmatizing avoided topics like mental health and Asian American representation. This is the one I wrote about working with kids, and it's my favorite one. Hi, Miss Alison! I couldn't help but smile as the 5th grader's voice carried across the cafeteria. Initially, I debated whether stacking onto my commitments was a wise decision. However, it's quickly become my favorite part of each day because I honestly don't go for the work experience or money. I go to help the kids grow and have fun. I firmly believe that childhood is the most formative part of people's lives, and as kids are our community's future, we should try to make their experience better than ours. Growing up, I struggled with feeling isolated and maintaining friendships, which led to my self-esteem being determined by the validation of others. I had to spend years mending my confidence and improving relationships before I could learn to love myself and become an extrovert. So I'm determined to protect my kids from going through what I did. Isn't the easiest experience for students, as they're left watching all their friends go home and enjoying activities that aren't their favorite. So beyond my on-paper responsibility of supervising them, I constantly monitor everyone's involvement and memorize and adapt to each student's likes and needs. The little things are what stick with people. So this means tracking which capitals needs extra help with and complementing art. It means preparing for speech therapy while ensuring receives fair laptop time. The kids' happiness is always my priority. Even when I'm overheating, I continue playing soccer because needs a teammate. When my shift ends, I work for free because and I are finishing our Uno game. It is the most rewarding feeling to see the difference I'm able to make. Nothing will rival experiences like seeing amazement at the times table trick I taught him, or watching laugh with his new friends after I invite him to our soccer game. These kids always brighten my day with their goofy antics and positive outlooks, so it's only right that I help them lead happy and successful lives too. Those weren't just big blocks of text, they had paragraph like indents and stuff, but I hope those helped you guys out a little bit. I'm not going to read my Common App one, you guys can find examples of that online though. I hope this video was helpful to you guys in some way. Good luck. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments and I will try to give you guys my best advice on them. We are on location, so I have my script, I printed it, and all the angles and shots I need to get. Color-coded them for the shots where I have face paint and where I don't. I got all my props here. This right here, this is one of the weirdest ways I have had to have my tripod. Filming mirrors is so wacky. I have to be like over here, like practically not in the camera. Like I can't see myself in the camera, but the camera can see me in it. Hi guys! I'm gonna go pick up Lexi and Carolyn soon, and then we're gonna go to our first set. So we're filming like 4 of the scenes today, and then we'll do the last one on Friday. We're actually doing part of that one as well today. I'm really nervous. Behind the scenes. Hi guys, I'm looking like a fat mess. What I do when I have a lot of things to do is I write down everything, and then I write down a date I want to have it done by in purple, because purple's pretty, and then I write down the like actual due date in red. Ooh. This weekend is very, very busy. I have theater, and then we have a lot of key clip things going on. So we have RTC tomorrow, then we have a bake sale the day after, and I'm going to be there from 9 to 6 or whenever we sell out of baked goods. And then I have a job starting on Tuesday that I'm going to have to go to every day, and I have a lot of supplements that I have to do. That's where I'm at right now. This is from theater because I had a theater show today. Like lunches, 3 out of 5 of them I'm usually doing some sort of club thing, but now I think I'm going to spend all of my lunches either doing club things or college apps. And I have to order Disney Club t-shirts tomorrow, which have been very stressful. Here's a little college process update. First off, I dyed my hair today. Yesterday I had my mom just chop it off. I've been very, very stressed because there's a lot I need to do, but I got a lot done today. I finished my CSS profile, turned it in. I submitted my Cal State Northridge application, so that is my very first college app I have turned in. I checked with my letters of rec people, so my calculus teacher is going to do mine this weekend, and my singing teacher is getting there, she said. And I already have my English teacher's letter of rec. And guys, I requested my transcripts today, so we are getting stuff done. I want you guys to be so proud of me. It is 8:30 p.m. now. I have spent the past 7 to 8 hours writing and revising essays. I did 3 different ones during this time, so basically I revised my Common App personal statement. It was basically done, but I just It was my last revision day, and I put that in. Then I did my LMU writing supplement again. It was my third draft of it. Not sure, I do a lot of drafts of things. I think this one's pretty good. I'm gonna revise it tomorrow because you need like fresh eyes. That's how I go about things. Like, I'm not gonna revise it the day of because like I just spent like 3 hours like writing it, you know? For some reason, I was just really in the zone today. Like, all of a sudden I looked at my clock and I was like, whoa, it's been like 2 hours. For like English classes, I guess, essays don't take me as long, but like when it's college, I'm like thinking really hard about myself. The LMU one was taking quite a bit of time. The XPOS one, I've had major writer's block for like the past couple days. Today, it just, whoop. It's not very good, but it like, I don't know, it's basically done. I'm gonna revise it tomorrow. I'm very proud of myself. Like, I really only took breaks to do my bullet journal, and then I also ate dinner and had like a snack in the middle. And Ariane FaceTimed me, so while I was doing my bullet journal. For this wave of college apps, because there's 4 college apps I have due November 1st, for this wave I am almost done. I just have to revise my LMU one, and then I have to redo my Chapman personal statement. We bought my fall rally ticket today, so that's exciting. I'm very, very excited. Tomorrow I'm gonna hang out with Rachel, I think. I finally get to like chill, because I was trying to finish everything up. This week is finals week, but it's actually like not too bad, because like I get out really early on Fridays. And then I'm gonna have the best weekend after that. We have a 3-day weekend after that. I'm gonna go to the band tournament on Saturday, then Sunday might go to a party, and then on Monday we have improv bonding. Very excited for the week ahead of us. Also, my friend's coming back from college soon and we can go to a scary place this week if I have time. Yay! Bro, I'm trying to stop writing and like take a break, but now all of a sudden ideas are flowing through my head for my Chapman personal statement, so I might start redoing it tonight and like work on it more tomorrow. This has been the area I have been glued to for the past 2 days, and I will be glued here tomorrow as well. I'm going to spend tomorrow doing my USC and UCLA personal statements, revising everything because some of it's really bad. I'm very glad that I decided to spend some of break doing it because I definitely, like, I was planning to do it when I was also working and going to improv practices every day. So that wouldn't really have worked out. I am the biggest dumb in the world. I put screenwriting for USC as my second choice. You have to do another portfolio for that. Oh my gosh. 1 out of 2 for USC done. This past month, I have been downing Coke to keep me awake. I've been eating tons of candy and cookies. I can't wait. That is what I'm most excited for, to get back into shape and like all the self-care and stuff. I finished all my apps. I turned the last one in at around 5:48 because we left for Pete Davidson at 6 p.m. Wanted to get them done. Oh yeah. We're gonna watch Let It Snow on Netflix because I love rom-coms and Christmas. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in another one. Bye guys!